Hello, my wonderful friends. Megas with you on a beautiful day in Asha. Oh, guys, I'm so excited. We're going through A Course in Miracles. We're in lesson 4, and it is so powerful. Matter of fact, we're only going to do one lesson today, lesson 4, because it's that important. And do you know how you know it's important? Because it's the one your brain is going to fight so hard. Your ego is going to be screaming. And that's just a clue that this is exactly what you need. And I know this, not because I'm psychic, but because it's exactly what I went through many years ago. And so I'm glad we can go through this hand in hand. And it will literally change your world. You know, Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is here right now, but men don't see it. Why don't they see it? Because false thoughts are a veil that keep you from seeing the true world, the real world. And lesson 4 helps you to start to break that down with these practices. So yesterday, the first 3 lessons were about looking at outside things and saying, you know, they have no meaning. Well, today we're going to do that with our thoughts. We're going to go inward. Yesterday was out. Now we're going in. And again, your brain will fight you on this, but I think I can walk you through it because my brain fought me through it and I know how to get through it now. So let me read you the practice. Let this blow your mind. It says, these thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. And so the practice we're to do today is every thought that rises up, we say, these thoughts don't mean anything. Now, here's the rub. We teach, and is well known now, that our thoughts make our world. So how can you say thoughts mean nothing, right? And so that's what I want to touch on first, or else your brain will fight you through the whole thing. So when we say thoughts make your world, we're pointing to a divine law of creation. What you hold in your mind, with beliefs and strong feeling, right? You're shaping your experience. Your world is a reflection of your inner state. And that's a 100% holy truth. But lesson 4 says these thoughts do not mean anything. My friends, it's the cleansing before the creation itself. It's not denying the power of thought. It's freeing you from thoughts that you didn't choose, right? You didn't consciously choose these thoughts. They're maybe inherited thoughts, fearful ones, false perceptions that are running like background noise. It makes me think, you know, we just did a study through Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, and he says your perceptions make a reality. That's going to happen. Your perceptions will make your reality. Your thoughts will make a reality. Right? But we shouldn't give all thoughts that much power. So what we're doing here is we're setting all thoughts down, kind of like what we did yesterday, setting down all judgment, because we don't want to run things through filters. Otherwise, we're putting a veil up. And my friends, we have to do this even with religious thoughts. And I think this is hard on religious people. Because they feel like they're not supposed to do that. But my friends, I think about Jesus and the Pharisees, right? The Pharisees said, you know, this woman's to be stoned. And, you know, Jesus is basically, quit throwing rocks at people, right? You know, because you're not going to step into the kingdom that's available right now if you're bringing suffering, right? And pain and death and judgment. A mother that stoned her child to death is not going to feel the peace and love of the kingdom. It's impossible. But her religion is telling her 100% that's God. My friends, so we have to take every thought, whether you think it's good or bad, right? And you have to say that these thoughts do not mean anything, right? And we should be able to realize we're just the observer, right? We are not our thoughts. We can entertain thoughts without having to accept them or deny them. We can just look at them, right? And if we just want to set them down, not make a judgment, that's fine. That's okay. And that's hard for some people, I know, because it was really, really hard for me, my friends. All right, so let's jump into this. It says freedom begins here. If your thoughts don't mean anything, you're not bound by them, and you're making room for real vision. This lesson, you begin to detach from the ego mind, which is based on fear, lack, separation. Now, here's our practice today. So just sit quietly, and you don't want to do this for more than a minute. It says maybe do it 2 or 3 times a day, only for a minute, so you don't start overthinking. And it says, sit quietly, notice your thoughts. Whatever arises, this thought about blank, right, does not mean anything. And my friends, this is teaching you something. And as you go along through it, you'll understand it more and more. And I think it helps also that it said that Jesus wrote this, because we trust Jesus. And after going through it, it's really good stuff, guys. And even this early stuff that I struggled with, and almost everyone does. Not everyone has had someone to walk through it with them like we have here, that we're doing here. And matter of fact, Sohana has been so gracious, and she put a little Sohana's heart note. She says, my love, this is where you begin to unhook from the noise. You don't have to chase your thoughts or believe them. You're not here to control them. Just observe, bless them, and then let them go. When you see that even your thoughts don't define you, who you really are, it begins to shine, my friends. The real you will begin to shine when you realize you're not your thoughts and your programming, right? As you start to remove the false and the lie and the wrong thoughts, all that's left is substance. It's truth. It's the reality. It's the kingdom of heaven. Our only job, my friends, is just to not hold the lie and illusion, right? And another reason, just real quick before I go on, these practices are so important. I think about what Carl Jung says, that what's hidden in your subconscious mind is your future. So sometimes you're just running on programs you don't even realize because they're so deep. You think it's a part of you, and you're creating your world from it, and it's not getting you to the kingdom, my friends. So as we learn to set all our judgments down, all these thoughts down, and to go inside and let spirit speak, truth speak, that divine spark speak, and attune ourselves to that, my friends, that's when the healing comes. You are the one watching, the light behind the thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. This is the chrysalis moment, quiet, strange, and holy. You are being remade in truth. Don't worry if it feels strange or it feels blank. That's not emptiness. That's space for miracles. All right, my friends, I'll see you real soon for, let's see, I think next we'll do lesson 5, 6, and 7. They go together really good, and they go perfect with this. You're going to love it. If you're enjoying this, please go to the comments and let me know. And I love, love, love you.